Alright, so next we have David Albers, future surgeon slash bison rancher, who's going to show us how to make the sweet potato and acorn squash bake.
Alright, so we have here an acorn squash and a sweet potato. These are both very starchy vegetables from South America. And the key to any starchy vegetable is knowing what's inside it. Starch, and the starch is stored in these granules. And so the key to cooking a starchy vegetable well is, first of all, breaking that seal that's around those starches, and then also breaking down those starches. And within these vegetables and their cells, there are enzymes that will take the starch and chew it up into tiny little bits into simple sugars, which is delicious and good stuff. So with our sweet potato, we're going to focus in on him. And so it has an enzyme that operates in its ideal temperature, 135 degrees Fahrenheit to around 170. So what you do is you put this in an oven around 350 for the outside temperature, then the inside will heat up into that range, and you'll cook it for maybe about an hour. And we'll start breaking down the starch into maltose, which is a very simple sugar, and it'll become very syrupy on the inside. And the key is to allow that to happen over a long period of time. You're not going to get the same effect if you cook this in a microwave or boil it for a short period of time. The key is to allow the enzyme to act. It's got a big job. It's got to break down a lot of starch. So, I mean, it's a starchy guy, and so you got to give it time. And that's what we're here to do, is give this sweet potato some time. So anyways, we're going to get started. First off, so we've had these guys baking for about an hour in the oven. We took it out, and we're going to cut them open. And we're going to take all their goodness out and put it in a bowl, mix it together with some other delicious items. Okay, so the skin just comes off really nicely if you cook it for a long period of time like that. So we're just going to scoop out this pulpy, delicious material. While I was cooking, as that starch was being released, it forms kind of a gel. All the water that's in the cell just gets absorbed into that like a sponge. So instead of this tough, crunchy, chalky experience, you have more of a smoother, tastier item. Acorn squash right here. We're going to scoop out the nasties. We're just going to throw all this in the bowl. Just falls apart. Next. Alright, so we've got that. Tastes good. Nice and sweet. We're going to have 4 eggs. Made in Texas. The Republic of Texas, mind you. No big deal. And these eggs, the purpose of this, it's just kind of like, I mean, the same way that you have eggs in a cake. The protein will agglutinate and cause it to stick together. We are going to add a little bit of some quality Parmesan cheese, about a half a cup. Pre-grated, thank you very much. And a little bit of mascarpone. And if you don't want to use that, you can also use creme fraiche, which also comes from cows, but it's basically, you know, fat, and there's not as much of the protein. And we're going to just zest a little bit of lemon on top to give it a little bit of a zing, and then a little bit of nutmeg. Sweet potato always tends to go with a little bit of nutmeg. All right, so now our almond flour, which we're using instead of regular flour, and we're going to add about a half a cup. Brought to you by Bob. He's a good man. Okay, so we have all of our goodies here, and we're just going to mix them all together. Some delicious vomit.
Nice.
Except not. Sorry to give you that image. I apologize, viewers. It was poor showmanship.
Very professional.
Okay. We have a pan that's been some scrum-lesson Kerrygold butter and greased it beforehand. Sprinkled on a little bit of almond flour, and it's going to make it easier to take off the pieces once we cook it. So just going to add this boy in. Look at that goodness. You see that goodness? This is a springform pan as well, which makes it easier for cooking. All right, so we're going to take this and bake it along with our braise. And I'm going to go study for a bit, and I think Steven's going to go work out.
Yep.
So we'll be back in a little while. All right, so this it's been cooking for about 35 minutes, and here it is. Very beautiful. You can see that it's come off of the edges a little bit very nicely. This is a handy springform-ish pan. Just pop that boy right out. We're gonna cut this into pieces. These can be any shape that you would like. Squares, triangles, hexagons, anything. I'm gonna go with squares though. Oops.
All right, now back with the short ribs. We're gonna take out. They've been cooking for I don't know, close to 3 hours now, so they should be plenty ready. I've also got these tomatoes that were cooking earlier. Come see here, I just kind of cored these Roma tomatoes and then put some slits in behind in the bottom portion. Stick them in boiling water until the skin starts to peel off a bit. Throw them immediately into cold ice water to shock them. And then you basically just peel off the skin, slice them in half, little olive oil, salt, pepper, and some thyme in the oven. I did mine around 300 degrees for a couple hours, but technically you could also put it in for 200 degrees for 6 hours. It'll shrink up, really flavor packed, so we're gonna add that to the end of the dish. All right, now for the beef short ribs. There we have it, looks pretty solid. To finish it off, there's a few last touches. Little red wine vinegar, just for a little zing. Just gonna break up some dried chilies. We did add salt throughout this dish, as well as with the sweet potato and acorn squash bake. So just kind of depending on what kind of salt level you enjoy. So these are probably gonna be falling off the bone, so just be careful with them. And they are hot. Just adding some basil and dill to this as well. Lemon juice, salt, and some good olive oil. And then using our favorite kitchen tools, clean hands, just to top it off. It's nice, solid greens. A couple of these tomatoes. Final drizzle of olive oil. Alrighty. There you have it, guys. Looks pretty delicious. I'm sure we're gonna enjoy it, and I'm sure if you guys make this, your family and friends will love it as well. Vote for us on Mark's Daily Apple, and hopefully we'll be seeing more of you guys in possibly future episodes.